In 2025, I set myself a video camera challenge to visit the locations featured in a 1930s film shot in the historic city of Chester. However, some of the scenes in the vintage black and white film are now out of reach. For example, pleasure craft still carry tourists up the River Dee, but not as far as Eaton Hall. And fishing nets cast into the river to catch salmon is very much a thing of the past. The tracking shot, filmed from behind the 3 old arches in Bridge Street, wasn't possible to recreate because permission would have been needed to lay a camera track. So I had to make do with a series of photographs. The Roman remains in the basement of what looks like a toy shop aren't accessible to the tourists. Instead, present-day visitors have to make do with a sanitized display of hypocaust floor supports at the back of a clothes shop. The remains of the Roman amphitheatre were discovered in 1929. So there hadn't been time for a full excavation. The model was based on speculation. The site assumed to be circular, when in fact it's elliptical. 95 years later, after many archaeological excavations, the custodians of Chester's heritage don't consider the amphitheatre important enough to let us see more than just 1/3 of it.
Well, I think I still won that one quite easily. I bid you all warmly welcome to the ancient and beautiful city of Chester.
Chester Cross, at the heart of the city, was returned to its original 14th century position when the streets were closed to traffic. The cross was reconstructed from fragments of the original cross that had been broken up in the English Civil War by Oliver Cromwell's parliamentarian army when the besieged city surrendered. Other than the cross being returned to its present position, little has changed in the middle of Chester since 1930. In 1966, a 4-lane highway was driven through the city walls and a large part of Chester's medieval street pattern bulldozed. The severed wall was reconnected by an ugly concrete bridge. This was the inner ring road built to take the traffic away from the city centre. But surely a ring road should go round a precious piece of heritage, not through it. Calling it an inner ring road is just playing with words. There is a reminder of the English Civil War near to where the poisonous inner ring road breaches the medieval walls, a gun platform called Morgan's Mount. King Charles's Tower is another reminder of the English Civil War. It is said that from here, the king witnessed the defeat of his royalist army at Rowton Heath, 2 miles away. No chance now of a view to the distant battlefield. These high-rise flats block the line of sight. The city has been surrounded by modern ugliness. The Falcon Inn, a Grade 1 listed building, looks much the same 95 years on. But sadly, it is now cut off from the rest of the city by a busy traffic junction. It is also closed and unoccupied, a piece of heritage that is effectively abandoned. In a sleepier, hidden place on the north side of the city is a reminder that progress wasn't always about knocking things down that got in the way. A late 18th century canal was cut through the solid rock outside the city walls, causing no grief to anyone, heritage or history. It was a working canal in 1930, and 95 years later the canal still has a purpose. It is used by pleasure boats. But the ugly, noisy inner ring road is not far away, reminding us that the attitudes of the mid-20th century were very destructive. Bridgegate was covered in ivy in the 1930s. Ivy can cause damage to stonework, so it was probably wise to have it removed. The building in the background beyond the gate is the University of Chester, formerly Cheshire County Hall. This building is absent in the vintage film because construction didn't begin until the late 1930s. The view of the Old Dee Bridge from the city walls has hardly changed. But from the other side of the river, looking towards the city, things now look very different. Not because of some badly planned construction, but by the intervention of nature. Trees now blanket the right bank of the river, obscuring the view of the city skyline. The Anchorite Cell, a small religious building, partly carved out of the solid rock, was a difficult location to film. The view from where the camera was located in 1930 is now blocked by trees. But in a slightly different position, there is enough of the view to confirm the lawn is no longer a bowling green. Sunlight streams through the windows of the cloisters, as it has done for hundreds of years, forming the same peaceful patterns of light. The cloisters surround a tranquil garden, a garden that offers an escape from the many sins perpetrated on the city of Chester in recent years. On the site of the water source of the Benedictine Abbey that predated the cathedral, there is now a bronze statue symbolizing the water of life. These steps on the city walls are known as the wishing steps. A wish made at the bottom of the steps will come true if you reach the top without taking a breath. I waited with my camera, but no one came. Where were the young couples in love, I wondered, or someone who wanted to film the challenge on their phone? There's no plaque to explain the tradition of this place. Perhaps a deliberate policy. The local authority fearful of injury claims. So a piece of Chester's heritage that was very much alive in 1930 has been consigned to the history books.